Hi everyone and welcome. So I was gonna go to the woods today to try and get my recording for this upload out there today. But then when I realized how windy it is outside, even though weather-wise it's okay, it's 45 degrees and the sun finally showed up and you can see the sky and some clouds. It was pretty gloomy earlier. Wasn't sure if it was going to stay overcast the whole day, but it turned out to be okay. Now the sun is out and all that, but the wind is just way too much, guys. And if I went out there to try to do this today where I like to do it, it would probably mess up the audio quality a lot. So I decided to film it in my car again. But anyway, I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to talk about the I don't know if it's. Let me turn off my car here. Maybe I don't think it would it would come out in the thing, but just to be safe, I wanted to talk about the um, the power and the effect of symbols, the logos, words, language itself. You don't hear a lot of people talking about these things, and there are some people who know these things and they understand how powerful and important these things are. And there have been people who, are no longer around that talked about this a lot during their lifetime. So if you're really curious about this subject, this is one of the fascinating things that, I like to look into it, and I've done a lot of research on it personally because I understand how meaningful and how impactful these things can be in a person's life. So if you're more curious about this subject in particular, I would suggest and recommend that you look into the works of people like Jordan Maxwell, and there are many others who understood the value and meaning of these things and knew how to interpret it properly. So what am I talking about? Sounds like I've been blabbing, right? No, not really. Look at all the corporations that exist throughout the world and all the symbols that they use as their brand logo. You're going to realize that there is a commonality factor among many of these companies. A lot of them use, you know, stylized eyes, triangles, pyramids, vectors, stars sometimes. You get it. Go look into that and you will see what I'm talking about. A lot of these companies use these symbols because they understand the power that these symbols not only represent, but actually in the way that they work here in the physical realm. Because, like I've said many times before, and many other people, everything in this world that we live in operates based upon frequencies, vibrations, certain states that abide by universal rules. And these symbols, they they manifest certain things on is this invisible layer of the realm that we cannot see, but yet exists and operates, and it's still here present at the same time as I talk about this. Because um, we're very naive when it comes down to understanding the nature of reality and even the world that we really live in, guys. You know, most of us out here, we're just living our lives and, you know, grinding day to day, locked into survival mode, whatever the situation may be. But we don't understand or even realize that this physical aspect of the world that we live in is not all that there is. I've made many videos on this subject. If you're new to the channel, feel free to go back and watch some of the videos where I talk about these things, the unseen realms, other dimensions, and things like that. Because just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there and it's not real and it doesn't exist. And just to touch on that briefly, you know, one of the ways you can verify these things for yourself very easily is by just having a pet and see how pets do weird things. As if they can see something, hear something. Sometimes watch your pet and see how they behave. They're not behaving in a weird manner because they're going crazy. It's because they can see things and hear things that we cannot. They're more attuned to these things. It's a natural aspect of their own nature. So one of the downsides of becoming a human being is that we lose a lot of these abilities. And that's not to say we didn't have them at some point long ago in the past, many years ago, perhaps thousands of years ago. So in order for you to be able to reacquire this way of perceiving these things, you have to develop certain things within yourself, spiritually speaking. So these symbols, these logos, the meaning of words, language itself, it's very powerful. It affects people in a way that they may not be aware of or understand. And this is how they utilize a lot of these things through TV shows, movies, the music industry. Pay attention to what you see when you're looking at these things, and you're going to start seeing these things everywhere. Go watch a movie, anything that Hollywood produces, and you will see that if you pay attention to it, if you're truly paying attention to it, you're going to see they always put the sun in there somewhere. Symbols, things in the movie that will show you the sun. So there might be like a mirror on the wall in one of the scenes inside of a room where the frame of the mirror looks like the sun. It could be a painting. It could be anything. They use a lot of these things in a very subtle manner. So if you're really not aware or paying attention, being present at the moment when these things are happening, you won't notice. But a lot of these things go straight into your subconscious, to your subconscious mind. And this is how they get to condition your mind, program your mind to be a certain way, think a certain way, feel a certain way. Go watch music videos of any of these famous people that are out there. You're going to see so much of that stuff. Checkerboards. They may not always be black and white. They may change the colors. They may use other colors. But it's in your face. You can't deny it. This is all part of, Masonic symbolism. You have the absolute, the objectifying women through their beauty and sex appeal. All of these things. This is all subtle programming, guys. And you can call me crazy. I don't care. I know what I am talking about. What do you think that happens to the mind of a child that grows up watching all these things? Because the child doesn't understand or know what is being fed into their minds. And like I said, that stuff goes straight into your subconscious mind. And then as you develop as a person, once you become an adult, you're gonna see things a certain way, think about things a certain way, because of all this external programming that you've been heavily subjected to. And this is why these companies utilize these symbols and logos. Do you think that Apple uses the apple as a symbol for no reason? And there are many explanations to these things. The words themselves, the letters, they have meaning. They emanate certain, frequencies, certain types of power that we're not aware of. And I know what I'm talking about here may sound totally off the wall, batshit crazy to some people that may be new to this subject. But I am telling you, this is very real, and it is very meaningful and very impactful as well. But obviously, if you're not awake, if you're not aware of these things, if you haven't looked into it, researched it, you're gonna laugh it off. You're gonna think, yeah, I'm crazy, and that's fine. And if that's the case, this video is not for you. You're not ready yet, to understand these things or receive this type of information. Go on with your life. It's fine. Perhaps it's not the time for you yet. But for those who are ready to know these things, who already know these things, be aware of it, because it matters a lot. Did you know that, back in the day, all the instruments were attuned to a certain frequency? I think it was 432 megahertz, whatever it was. Don't quote me on it though. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but look into it, you will see. And then eventually, the people who run the world decided to change that. And the way they did it with all the instruments now, they are not attuned to that specific frequency anymore. They changed that. So even the frequency of the music that we are hearing that is being broadcasted to us is not running under the ideal optimized frequency that is supposed to be beneficial to the human body, to the soul, on a frequency level. These things have all been tampered with. It's pretty much over at this point, guys. And then you have the mobile devices and the Wi-Fi frequencies that they emanate. That's in the fine print that nobody reads. These things are harmful. I talked about that too. Put your device on a Faraday cage, whatever. Use a EMF blocker on it so it doesn't affect you the way it does, because it's not good for our health. I talked about all these things, guys. So yeah, the symbols, there is a reason why they use these symbols. Words, when utilized in a certain way, in a certain faction, when they're written on papers, documents, and all these things, these are spells. It's like a wizard casting a spell, literally. Like a sorcerer casting a spell. And I'm not joking. And again, like I said, some people may think I'm crazy when I'm talking about these things. But I know what I'm talking about because I've spent years of my life researching these things, looking these things up, listening to the people who know about these things and understand the meaning of it and how much it affects the human mind, our psychology, the way that we think and operate here on this world. Why do you think majority of the population doesn't question anything when it comes down to everything these days, right? People don't question stuff because they've been conditioned to not question things throughout all of these things that I'm explaining here right now. So this is really pretty much all I wanted to talk about when it comes down to today's topic, guys. So my advice to you is if you want to know more about this subject, look into it, do some research. Tag your favorite AI and ask questions. Look into the works of people like Jordan Maxwell. And there are many others. Michael Tsarion. Look into the works of Carl Jung when it comes down to the psychology of humans and how we operate. How he talks and explains about how, men have a female soul and women have a male soul. And yeah, these things have been, people have tried to debunk this and say that that's not how it is. And there's people in the field, especially when it comes down to feminism, saying that this is not how it is. But when you look into this deeply and you understand the universe and the nature of things, you will know this to be true in your heart and your mind. Why do you think everything is so messed up now between men and women? It's all these external things that have molded people's minds and ways of thinking into this very extremely harmful, toxic way of living. How do you think the future is going to be if we keep going in this direction, guys? With men hating women, women women hating men, no families being formed anymore, children not being born, birth rates plummeting, all of these things that I've talked about in many of my videos. This is not good for humanity. Get that through your heads. And if you guys think it's bad right now, I've said it before, if we keep going this direction, nobody does anything about it, it's only gonna get worse. It is getting worse. I hate to be negative, folks, but look around you. And this is already way too long of a video. I should have stopped 3 minutes ago. So if you like the video, don't forget to click the like button, share, subscribe. And I will catch you all on the next one. Be safe, take care, be smart, and do some research. Do yourself a favor. Until next time, my friends.